What was your most wholesome happy moment? My son 8 was almost 4 years old and obsessed with Toy Story. He would watch it over and over. We took a trip to Disney and waited online to meet Woody and Bo Peep. The moment he got up to meet them, his face turned red. He had the most innocent, beautiful little look in his eyes as they signed his little autograph book and gave him a hug. I am fighting back tears on my couch just thinking about it. The most beautiful moment of my life. My nephew was born when I was 16 and he loved hanging around with me. He was about 3 and we were shopping together and he was in the cart and he looks at me and says, "Auntie, you're my best friend." I kissed him and told him he was mine too. Well, I'm 40 and he's 24 and he lives with me. He still is my best friend. One of my most wholesome moments was when I helped a friend through a tough time and saw them smile again. It was a reminder of the power of friendship and support. Finding out my wife was pregnant after 2.5 years of trying. Nothing has ever made me cry, cheer and yell all at the same time like that did. After my previous cat passed away, I assumed we might eventually adopt another older cat from a shelter. We attended an event where a tiny kitten really just singled my wife and me out by forcing herself into our hearts. We were allowed to bring the wild kitten home, sweet love and being a doorman, food provider, and human bed for 18 years and counting. I just bought my first house and a new puppy. Very happy moment. My great-grandpa and I shared a love for classical music. He was on what was almost certainly his last day and he asked for a moment with just me. He wanted to listen to Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a theme of Paganini with me one last time, so we did that as we held hands. Once it was done sooner than I wanted it to be, he told me, "Jeff, thank you. This meant a lot, but I need to die now. He'll see you again one day, okay?" I promised him that I'd look for him right away once I go. That moment meant the world to both of us. When I was picking up my son 9 from school, we discussed multiverses. After he understood the concept, he said, "I'm pretty sure I'm living in the best version of all of them." One time in San Jose, Dad bought us a big all batch of donuts for the family. Taking my son when he was 7-year-old to the mall to watch a movie. It's so simple, but it's such a happy memory. I really miss those times. Last week I saw an old man, I would guess 70, kneeling behind a car at a parking place. He remained there for a few minutes, so I went to him and asked if he needs some help. But then he told me that he's waiting for his wife to come back so he could scare her. I found it very cute of him, and it's good to hear that older people still have fun. Every Friday and Saturday night I make beds on the sofas and myself, and the kids camp downstairs. Soft lighting, film, or sometimes just chilled music. We talk, eat supper, giggle at their jokes. They are only young once, and it means the wife gets a good night's sleep upstairs. The morning of my wedding, we got up early feeling fresh due to the time difference, and went for a walk on the empty Waikiki beach with macadamia nut Kona coffee just as the sun was barely starting to rise, the gentle waves along the beach and the fresh, salt air. It had been years since I'd been home, and experiencing it with my beloved made it the paradise that many imagine it to be. The day after my son rang the bell for beating leukemia. His class celebrated with him. He was in preschool. The teachers gave all of the children little bells to ring for my son. She then told them to hold off ringing them. Haha. Definitely went how you could imagine. But it was seriously touching and special, and I'm grateful he felt that support from his friends. When I took a stray dog home with me, it was a cold and rainy November day. She was in front of my work trying to get in to get warm. I was watching her from the window. She was wet, cold, but so happy when she saw people around. It just broke my heart to see her in the industrial zone, alone in that miserable weather. By the time I finished work, it was night outside. I found her by a textile factory, sitting shivering on a blanket one of the workers left for her. The same guy saw me approaching her, and when I told him I'd take her to the vet to see if someone lost her, he took a new blanket, put it in the passenger seat of my car, and helped me put her in. I turned on the heater, covered her up, and she just relaxed and slept the whole ride back to the city with some lovely radio music in the back. The moment to this day makes me want to cry. She was a stray, and after seeing what a sweet and well-behaved dig she was, we decided to keep her. Her name is Mila, and she is sleeping peacefully in her forever home. This is dumb. I'm almost 30, but holding hands in public with my fiancé makes me so damn happy. I actually gain his confidence. Holding my daughter for the first time after hours and hours of labor and pushing and pain. I sat down to dinner and said, "Thank you, dear." 2 people responded. It has been so long since I've been happy in the sense of being above hedonics that I don't remember what it feels like anymore. When I was traveling through Europe a few years ago, I recall that being the last time that I went to sleep without wishing that I wouldn't wake up. Receiving a heartfelt thank you letter from a student I had mentored.